Privacy and crypto. This one has the potential to make you a little bit angry. So we're back, talking once again about crypto mixes. It's been a couple of months since Tornado Cash got whacked by the US government. That was, if you remember, basically because it was accused of covering up money laundering, specifically involving North Korean state hackers. Now, it's fair to say not everyone is happy about this. It has led to accusations about overreach from authorities and ultimately fundamental queries about what it really means for the future of regulation of Web3. So, where does all of that leave us and what's next? Well, those questions are essentially at the heart of Forkast's latest Crypto Rising debate. Forkast editor-in-chief Angie Lau has been talking with some of the most vital voices on this subject. Here's what they had to say.
What was novel here, as both the video and as you just said, was the idea that the code was being sanctioned. This was a wallet address that consisted of a smart contract. So as opposed to being identifiable to an individual or an entity or anything like that, this was actually a functional wallet. And the sanctioning of such a thing meant that, first of all, you couldn't pass anything essentially through it, to use kind of layman terminology, but no one was really clear. Even if we concede that there is something that was done wrong here, how do we decide where to assign that liability? And shouldn't it be the case, I'm paraphrasing a little poorly, I suppose, but that legislators and policymakers have the way in, they have the ability to basically articulate the boundaries or framework around what exactly should be contained where and who should weigh in on what.
I think what pervades this debate is the fact that code doesn't just appear. Somebody puts it there and decisions appear. At least code doesn't just appear yet. And regulators have been dealing with the people who put in place computer programs, code, for quite some time, for example, with black box trading. And the financial regulators have made it very clear that if an entity, an asset manager, uses black box trading, it has to be responsible for the code. And it has to be responsible for the people who code the code. But law is not made by regulators, it's generally made by legislators. And legislators and courts are sprinting to try and catch up with an industry, like Wei says, is incredibly fast moving, incredibly iterative. And the only way they can do that at the moment is to apply these old techniques.
Right now, you basically can have a DAO and have, not only can you form a DAO, but you can actually have a DAO token that becomes tradable on exchanges almost like, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, if successful, right? Almost right away, right? You can, and I think that's the sort of that's what regulators are struggling today. And I think it's really important then on the lawmakers to sort of like figure out, hey, this thing you can do, this thing you cannot do. Or worst case scenario, be like, hey, just follow the old laws.
So Chainalysis in its half-year report had said that in the 6 months to June 2022, there had been $1.9 billion worth of crypto assets stolen in hacks. That compared to 1.2 billion the year before. So the problem's getting worse, and so it is important to. Crypto has great advantages, particularly with the unbanked, but like Wei says, how do you protect those people? Hong Kong has been taking a lead, Singapore as well, both great financial centers. The difficulty though is it takes time. And the industry has been calling for regulation, for laws, and I welcome judgments that come out that talk about whether a cryptocurrency is an asset or not, because it's only recently that question has been answered by the courts. But it takes time. And so if we take it all the way back to Tornado Cash, I'm not a US lawyer, but I actually welcome a decision from this challenge to see where the boundaries are.
I think what's coming down for everybody engaged in, and frankly in financial services, is a reckoning where we're all going to have to decide, what does privacy mean to us? Where does it matter? When does it matter? Why does it matter? And that's going to be all the way up to regulators and policymakers and government actors and all these different kinds of folks, but also users are going to be faced with choices to make.
All right, that's it for this episode. Like and subscribe for more content like it, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.